Here in Fairfax County, you've all done tremendous work around defining a portrait of a graduate. Those essential skills and elements that our kids need upon exit of your system to be successful in today's 21st century world and economy. And I think to do that, it requires us to kind of rethink instructional models, how the actual instruction plays out in a classroom, and increasingly more beyond the classroom, anywhere, anytime.
It's kind of taking that whole child approach that we talked about years ago, but are now reconceptualizing it with the portrait of a graduate at the center. So if that's where we're going, kind of what does that whole child experience need to be to get kids to that outcome?
It's not really a new learning model. This is a learning model that really helps us to refine and organize all the things we've been doing over the past couple of years. So I would really say to teachers, really think about where are you currently, what is the work you're currently doing, how does it fit into the learning model, and what can we do to further expand our work in that area?
It's a model that I think is going to provide support, is going to provide clarity of the structures that we need to implement, that we need to bring to our classroom, especially with the strong foundation that we have in FCPS on our professional learning communities and the work of our collaborative teams. I think those two concepts will complement each other in a great way. Our high-performing teams are very powerful in FCPS. As the teachers plan together, we want to make sure that the teachers reflect in terms of the tasks and the structures they have to bring into the classroom. But the ones who really make those decisions are the teams.
The other piece that is so critical is the work of cultural proficiency. Our community is becoming so diverse, and it is very important that we understand where our students and where our families have come from and what experiences are they bringing to the classroom and to learning.
If we don't know our students and understand where they're coming from, how do we really create an environment where they can really thrive? When we start to put things in place where the learner is at the center, we can really change the way the classroom looks. When we think about a learner-centered environment, really at the heart of it, in some ways, we're talking about good old-fashioned differentiation, just acknowledging that students are different and they have different needs, different interests, different skills, and that we as teachers need to acknowledge that and be aware of that when we're planning.
It's really about putting the learning back in their hands. And teachers before used to be the one with all the knowledge. Now, the knowledge is out there. You always have the teacher who's providing some direction and instruction, but then from there, you can go in so many different ways to really get those students to take charge of their own learning. And it's wonderful.
Instead of memorizing some information and putting it down on a piece of paper, A, B, C, D, we get to take control of our own learning by doing projects. It's all looking into yourself and how you learn, trying to find out ways of helping you retain your own information and creating something and producing something you care about and you're passionate about.
What are the students actually doing in the classroom? Are they having those meaningful learning experiences? Those meaningful learning experiences can look very different and take very different faces, which we want for our students, but we're talking about things where students are engaged in constructing their own knowledge, making connections between things. Learning as a human endeavor is a constructivist experience. We have to construct our understanding of things. We have to fit it into our background knowledge. We have to connect it to what we already know. And so this piece is really about helping teachers understand that to do that, students have to be engaged or connected to the material.
I've never fully thought past what I've learned. Like, it was just memorizing and spitting it down on a piece of paper. Hopefully I get that grade. I really want that grade. But like with Capstone, like the question that I had, I was so passionate about, and it was something that really came from the heart. I had my own experience with my question, and I really got to research what I wanted. I got to really dig deep and learn more about what I was really passionate about.
So the concept-based curriculum that we've been using with the planning and pacing guides has allowed children to construct more of the meaning themselves and take ownership of their learning and of the content. What we've been working with here at Lynbrook is unpacking the enduring understandings, essential questions, the big ideas, the conceptual understandings that we want kids to walk away with.
That's fundamental because those enduring essential questions, big ideas, is what really going to give the students the possibility of applying critical thinking skills, creative skills in the classroom.
It isn't just a sort of like brain dump that you do. I learn the information, I take the test, I do well or I don't, and then I move on. If it is something that, you know, is more of a project, it is more open and it's more challenging because it challenges more parts of your brain than just, you know, if you take a science test, you are just, you know, do you know the answer, circle A, B, C. But if you're doing a science experiment or a science project, you get more out of it because it's a bigger accomplishment when you finish it.
If we're teaching in powerful ways that really connect with students' experiences, if we're very intentional about what we want students to know, understand, and be able to do in our planning, whatever assessment type we put out there is going to help us get to that goal.
Not every single concept has to be measured through a multiple choice test. That there are many other ways to assess what the students have mastered.
What we want to do with purposeful assessment is to acknowledge the existing state of standardized assessment for accountability, but also open up possibilities for more meaningful assessment, for teachers to have more formative assessment that helps them make good decisions, to incorporate student-led assessment, where students have an active role in the assessment process.
If you are able to fully assess what kind of learner you are, you're able to be like, okay, I know that if I just take notes on this, it's not going to work for me. So how do I make it work for me? And so it makes students just more aware of what is going to work for them and how they can engage themselves more in their learning.
I am very excited about the changes in education. It is such a great opportunity for our teachers to up their game and to do things differently and do things in a way they haven't done them before that requires them to collaborate with their colleagues to really come up with the best way to educate our students.
From what I've learned, I think I can have an impact. So I think I want to actually impact using what I've learned. Like this question was really important to me, and I feel like I can make a difference in my community. So that's what I want to do.
And to hear kids walking away from their learning saying, I can change the world. That's what it's all about, right? How do we help kids leave us knowing that they can do anything and they can change the world?